steady mind runs on an unsteady heart. Your nervous system is a switchboard demanding both sympathetic fire and parasympathetic recovery to operate cleanly. Researchers call this autonomic flexibility. When you measure it through heart rate variability, you are watching your vagus nerve edit your neural code in real time. Thayer and Lane mapped this architecture in 2009. Every exhale tugs your heart rate through a mechanism called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, shifting vagal tone with each breath. The wellness industry sold you calm. The literature sells you something far stranger: control. Thayer and Javerts asked a rude question. If you can watch your heart rate wobble in real time, can you learn to steer it? Their 2014 review laid out the evidence. HRV biofeedback works differently than simple relaxation. It targets baroreflex sensitivity, the neural bridge between blood pressure sensors and brainstem. When that reflex sharpens, the vagus nerve slows the heart and edits the gain on emotional reactivity itself. Porges mapped 3 neural platforms where most models only see 2. Ventral vagal for connection, sympathetic for mobilization, dorsal vagal for shutdown. Researchers prize something stranger than maximum parasympathetic tone. They track the speed at which you shift between these states. That same breath-driven mechanism we saw earlier is the lever. Your wearable renders it a number. The laboratory renders it a map of how fast you can change. Davidson's lab at Wisconsin spent years watching meditators rewire prefrontal amygdala circuitry. Gray matter grew. Amygdala volume dropped. Vagal tone climbed. The nervous system seemed to settle. Kozhevnikov ran a different protocol. She tracked advanced practitioners during peak absorption. Their HRV never flatlined into pure relaxation. Sympathetic markers spiked while vagal tone held steady. The signature was co-activation rather than quiet. 2 labs, 2 datasets, 1 contradiction. Does autonomic flexibility mean maximum parasympathetic recovery, or the ability to run sympathetic fire and vagal recovery simultaneously? The wearable cannot tell the difference. Your body can. The answer changes how you train. Sakharov's team pooled every mindfulness trial that measured autonomic output. The signal was real but small, unless participants also paced their breathing. That same respiratory gait we saw earlier becomes a lever when breath pacing hijacks baroreflex gain and forces a brainstem hub, the nucleus tractus solitarius, to recalibrate. But here is where the story splits. Hölzel's 8-week program produced structural amygdala shrinkage and a thicker insular cortex, the brain's interoceptive map. Those structural shifts predict how fast you rebound from sympathetic spikes. Biofeedback trains the oscillation. Meditation remodels the architecture. One gives you the number. The other gives you the recovery speed the wearable cannot see. The contradiction we left with is sharper than it looked. Co-activation during flow might demand physical rewiring rather than temporary breathwork. Can you build that rewiring without stillness? The next data point changes the training protocol entirely. Porges never said the vagus is one channel. The nucleus ambiguus runs the fast, breathing-linked oscillation that your wearable captures. The dorsal motor nucleus governs below diaphragm shutdown. We assumed sitting still trains both. It does not. Meditation and breathwork mostly reshape dorsal output and cortical maps. The ambiguous branch, the one that lets you shift states quickly, is gated by something else entirely: safe social engagement. Prosody, facial expression, reciprocal eye contact. That means the rewiring we need for autonomic speed is not built in isolation. It is built in relationship. Here is the inversion. We thought social calm follows vagal tone. The mechanism runs the other way. Social detection literally pulls the vagal brake, yet not all interaction counts. One specific signal determines whether that circuit fires or flatlines, and your wearable cannot detect it at all. Touch does not trigger it. Neither does sustained gaze nor the words being spoken. The trigger is the prosodic contour of a voice modulated between roughly 0.5 kHz and 1 kHz, the frequency band where human vocal warmth lives. Porges identified this acoustic signature as the specific key that recruits the neural platform we saw earlier. But the body does not detect it through the cochlea alone. The stapedius muscle in the middle ear must actively tense to filter out low-frequency background noise and let that band through. That muscle is innervated by the facial nerve, not the vagus. So here is the half chain. Social voices only calm the vagus if the middle ear first engages, and the middle ear only engages under a specific condition that has nothing to do with social intention. The next variable changes whether isolation is a feeling or a physical deafness. Mobilization itself shuts the gate. When sympathetic tone floods the brainstem, the stapedius releases, the middle ear drops the prosodic band, and isolation turns into a peripheral sensory failure instead of a mood. Your wearable catches this because the same brainstem hub we traced earlier governs both vagal brake output and facial nerve tone to the ear. That is the full loop. Breathwork edits the oscillation. Meditation remodels the recovery speed. But the final variable is social physics. Your nervous system must shift before another voice can physically reach it. So here is the takeaway. Check your RMSSD before conversation. If it is crashed, stress is not the right word. You are temporarily deaf to human warmth. 5 minutes of paced exhale does not merely relax you. It reopens the acoustic channel that makes connection possible. That is what autonomic flexibility actually means. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com. Every circuit we traced runs on metabolic fuel. That brainstem hub edits vagal gain using cytokine signals from gut and liver that never reach conscious awareness. One truncated night of sleep raises those inflammatory markers and dulls baroreflex sensitivity before you open your eyes. Exercise increases HRV independently of breathwork by remodeling arterial baroreceptors. So the protocol is sequential. Secure sleep first. Move second. Then pace the exhale that reopens the social channel. Your wearable tracks the output. The full research archive and exact sequencing live at jmthomasofficial.com.